Sorry for the long wait for results this time, my friends. It's been a crazy past couple of weeks. Some family visits, a bit of food poisoning, a mental breakdown or two, but they're finally here. I thank you all for your patience. How's about we get into this round's confessionals? A literal tree said, "Me when I beat my friend in chess. Checkmate. Me when I am introducing my Czechian friend. Checkmate. Me when I am not sure whether my friend has made the dish Czech themselves or if it was canned Czech. Checkmate. Me when I inspect my female servant. Checkmate. Me when I am flabbergasted by my low salary. Checkmate." An artichoke said, "Well, Phase 1 and Phase 2's final rounds weren't worrying for me. I had plenty of a buffer that as long as I did even remotely decent those rounds, I would have qualified. I could have just straight up not responded to round 3 and qualified past Phase 1. And now I am very scared. I'm right on the edge where I could theoretically qualify if I score high enough, and based off of the couple of votes I've seen thus far, I might just do it. That's a big might, though. If I die, all I really have to say is, I couldn't have gotten a single one of the scrape badges?" To Daybreak said, "Yes, Very, I'd like to compete." Don't Trust the Bushes said, "Verigold's RPS tourney is just a scheme to get Leah to read more confessionals. With that being said, I will happily participate." Fred Something said, "Rock Gang, best gang. I'm playing rock every time." Nindragon471 said, "Please, release me from reminders. I owe you no such mercy." Sergeant Snivy said, "Wow, last round was by far the luckiest moment I've ever had in any TWOW. If Metror hadn't voted late, I would have gone from gaining 3 leaderboard-related badges to not getting any. It would feel unsatisfying to qualify based on huge luck alone, so this round I'm hoping to do well enough that I would still qualify in the alternate universe where Metror's vote was on time. Caveat, I didn't go for Blood Badge this round, but I definitely would have if I didn't get any leaderboard badges last round, so I'll be factoring Blood Badge into my alternate universe self's final badge count. Also, we'll do the RPS thing." TR said, "I am very much down for an RPS tourney." Also, shout out to Snivy for making the Figgy C voting link so I could vote on my phone. So, that's a measly 5 participants for Verigold's tournament, 6 if she counts herself. I do look forward to seeing how that goes, in any case. Anyway, we've got some results to get into. I won't be doing one-by-ones this time, partially because I'm a bit bored of making them, but mostly because I think Danger Zone matchups would be more interesting. Sorry if these are lower quality than what you've come to expect from LSF. My hosting motivation may have plummeted a bit recently. I considered just matching up first with 26th and so on until the scrape and cuck, but that wouldn't be too suspenseful, so I decided to randomize the matchups instead. Wink wink. Let's see who's up first. So, not a whole lot of suspense on this first matchup, unfortunately. Funo already scored enough badges to basically guarantee his qualification, and Rose didn't respond to this round. Still, let's play it out. Rest in peace, Rose. I respect you for trying out a twist-heavy season after so much domination in vanilla ones, and I'm sad to see your run here come to an end. Your placement is nothing to be ashamed of. Next up, DDDB vs Sicto. 2 people who've had a lot of trouble getting by in my past few seasons, which makes me glad to see at least one of them making it through this time around. Which way did the tide swing? Yeah, I'm afraid this isn't all too unexpected, as sad as it may be. You played a good game, Sicto, but the end has come for you. Koopa vs Pikaman. One of these contestants left the server, and the other did not do that. Still, it's theoretically possible for Koopa to make a comeback if he really put his heart into it. It seems like it just wasn't meant to be. I'm sorry you had to go out in such an ugly way, but I hope you know that making it this far was an achievement in its own right. Adamanti vs Daybreak. Let's just roll the slides. Oh wow, Adam actually pulled off a last-minute clutch. I'm sorry, Dawn, but I'm not sure what you were expecting when you submitted a response like that. Just kidding. Obviously. If you actually fell for that, you do deserve to be eliminated. Regardless, congrats on making it into Phase 4, Dawn. Avocado vs Not a Donut. The guy coming off hot from 2 season wins and a bronze medal in a row, against someone who made their debut to my hosting with LSF. Nat definitely had the advantage going into this round, but was our fruity friend able to flip the season on its head and defy all odds of victory? Damn, I guess not. You played a valiant game for your first season of mine, Avocado, and I hope to see more of what you've got in store in the future. Clover vs Sergeant Snivy. Sheesh. I can't believe we live in a timeline where one of these people doesn't make alumni. It sure would suck if Clover died by the hands of someone she invited to this season, but while Snivy has the upper hand right now, I wouldn't assume that things are over just yet. Clover cooked up quite the strategy involving several technicals and a blood badge, and all she needs to do to guarantee qualification is reach a raw score of around 55%. Did she do it? Ouch! Clover, I'm so sorry that you had to go out here. You were only 3% away from achieving your masterful comeback arc. I'm really going to miss seeing your creative responses and ingenious plots to circumvent each twist I threw at you. Fred Something and Varigold. Two close friends of mine who happened to enter the community during the same general era. Eliminating either one of you is going to be painful. Fred has the advantage, and Very has a lot of ground to make up, but it's not an insurmountable gap. Who came out on top? Kudos to you, Fred! I'm so sorry that your run has to end now, Very, but at least you went out in a blaze of glory instead of getting taken down by strep throat this time. Nerdy Gal vs. TR. It might sound hard to believe, but this was actually a pretty close matchup. While TR came into this round with more badges, his lead is nothing Nerdy can't catch up on. Now that's what I call tragic. Even getting second place this round was just barely not enough to push Nerdy into qualifying. In any case, you can consider your embarrassing debut performance in Litwa to be thoroughly dethroned in the minds of the viewers. A literal tree versus neutrality. Strangely enough, both of these are historical underdogs and one-hit wonders in my seasons. Tree has been playing in my TWOWs ever since the original Leo TWOW back in 2021, but he hasn't been able to match his performance there in the years since. On the contrary, Neutrality made it to the finale of Matchmaker TWOW and won the season with the help of Arnoob, but his record aside from that isn't exactly the strongest. Tree may be in the green right now thanks to his victory last round, but will it be enough to carry him through, or will his inconsistency take his life once again? He does it! This is the miracle run I always knew ALT had the capacity to pull off if he just put his mind to it, and I'm so glad I finally got to witness it. Disappointingly though, we must say a tearful goodbye to local scrape Neutrality. Here we see two 25B Titans going head to head. Pun meta abuser turned technical master Mindflex B, and pessimistic underdog turned powerhouse Cyclo. One of these two cucked qualifying this round, and although Cyclo appears to have the advantage, he isn't technically off the hook just yet. Where did the dominoes fall? Wow, Cyclo scores a staggering total of 19 badges, taking home the gold not only for round 9, but for this phase as a whole. Seriously, you really need to stop doubting your own abilities. As for Mindflex, it's painful to submit you as the cuck of Phase 4, but rest assured that your performance this season was one for the ages. Arnoob and Ninjagon are now facing off, for our second 25B throwdown in a row. Nin did a fantastic job in Phase 2, but Arnoob is the overall frontrunner. Still, his iron grip seems to be slipping away, if these past couple of rounds are any indication. There's only a single badge separating these two right now, so it can absolutely swing in either direction. Let's go! Arnoob takes it! Ninjagon, I'm afraid to say that your aversion to taking any risks this phase ultimately brought about your untimely demise. In our penultimate matchup, Inartichoke is facing off against Meowie. Both of these players dominated Phase 1, both of them were only one badge apart last round, and both of them probably listened to way more Nightcore music than they'd care to admit. Artie tried a risky blood badge play, while Meowie went for a more straightforward response. Which strategy was more effective? Yikes! Artie, as much as I enjoyed your tomfoolery throughout this season, the universe just wasn't ready to let you survive another phase. This phase really isn't kind to its underdogs, huh? Only one pair of contestants remains. If you've been paying attention, you'll know that Bubble Trumps and Tiote are our final match of the night. Tiote is behind, and he has a lot of ground to make up. He needs at least 6 badges to guarantee qualification, while Bubble only needs 3. Moreover, he's the last of 4 people this round who tried taking a blood badge, and everyone before him who did so landed in the bottom 25%. Did he get lucky enough for his choices to pay off? Will TDQ lose 100% of its hosting team in only one round? Will I regret predicting him to win LSF? Let's find out! Tiote clutches up and becomes the last member of Phase 4! Consider this retribution for what happened in Pepsi Season 5. Bubble Trumps, you weren't quite able to live up to your run in Litwow, but you shouldn't feel at all ashamed for going out here. Hold on a second. Out of the 5 people who sent in confessionals and joined Varigold's Rock Paper Scissors tournament, all of them survived. But out of the 3 confessional submitters who didn't join the tourney, 2 of them died. Eliminated players, maybe you should have been more open to RPS. Here's the overall badge leaderboard, since I'm sure you're all dying to know what the distributions were like. Every single badge was earned at least once, and the vast majority were scored twice or more, but Funo gets to call himself the sole owner of the completion badge. I'm pretty relieved that we didn't end up having a tie for the qualifiers, honestly. Now, onto the full response leaderboard for round 9. There was a fierce battle for all of the spots between 2nd and 9th, but Mindflex making the podium would be the only outcome where any of the qualifiers change. Believe it or not, ITOD was getting the Platinum and Extreme badges at one point earlier in voting, but he was pulled down later. It's still tragic to see Clover come so close yet so far to qualifying, but a couple of harsh votes on her response were enough to rob her of her spot. Anyway, with all of that out of the way, I actually have an announcement for you remaining contestants. You're all alumni! That's right, I had initially planned to make it the top 7, aka the qualifiers for Phase 5, but a bunch of peer pressure from my contestants led to me adjusting it to the top 13. So, congratulations on making it to this monumental stage of the game! But what's an alumni roster without alumni art and titles? Cyclo, the Eye of the Hurricane. Despite the intense pressure of the competition swirling around you at every moment, you stayed calm and in control through it all, and it brought you all the way here. Funo, the Violet Victor. You took this phase by the horns and had it totally under your control, not once slipping from the top couple of spots. Enjoy your completionist role in the server. Don't Trust the Bushes, the Shady Gambler. You were the first person to successfully take a blood badge, and it paid off for you perfectly. After several seasons of flying too close to the sun, having you back as an alumnus is an honor and a pleasure. Sergeant Snivy, Glitch in the Mainframe. You only made it out of Phase 1 because of a strange technicality in the rules, and now you're an alumnus, you cheeky humbug. Legitimacy aside, though, your run has been a blast to watch, and I'll be following it with just as much excitement from here on. Not a Donut, the defending champions. Out of the 3 last seasons that I posted, you've placed first, and third. You also have a 100% finale rate every time you make alumni, so everyone else had better watch out. Seriously though, please let the other contestants have some crumbs of glory this time around. TR, the Cheese Connoisseur. You had a frankly pathetic placement in round 1 of this season, but rather than becoming complacent and giving up, you found hilarious ways to cheese nearly every technical in the game and worked your way up to winning rounds 2 and 3. It's been smooth sailing for you from there, and I'm so glad that your first foray into my hosting has been this successful. A Literal Tree, Nature's Roller Coaster. You're quite possibly the single most inconsistent performer that my TWOWs have ever seen, but that only makes it all the more impressive that you made it this far. Seeing you here after so many early deaths in past seasons almost brings a tear to my eye. Pika Man, the King of the North. I've known you were a highly talented player ever since round 2 of BlitTWOW, so seeing you in alumni isn't the biggest shock in the world. Despite that though, your persistence and capacity to write a nearly endless amount of banger responses is nothing short of admirable, and I hope you haven't run out of steam just yet. ITOD, Triumphant Don Quixote. Even when it seemed like making alumni was a long-gone dream, a far-fetched illusion with no basis in reality, you showed us exactly what you're made of and pulled it off anyway. I had faith in you even when it looked like things were over. Keep it up, and you just might win this season after all. To Daybreak, Risen from the Ashes. Even after getting dead last in the first round of this phase, you didn't give up. You stayed determined and escaped the wrath of death to claim your rightful place here. I also tried to tie in a reference to your Concise Star Season 3 alias, since I figured you'd appreciate that detail. Fred Something, the Pixelated Punisher. You were the first person to ever be declared a season winner in the history of my TWOWs, and while you haven't scored a second victory just yet, everyone knows just how much of a threat you really are. With your head in the game, narrowly scraping your way into Phase 3 wasn't enough to phase you or hold you back from your mad dash to alumni. Arnoob, the Frantic Frontrunner. You've held an iron fist over the competition for a while now, and although you were almost shot down in this phase, there was really no chance at taking you out this early on no matter what. You've still got the chance to prove that you're every bit as skilled as your more experienced contemporaries. And finally, Meowie, the Grand Master of Hell. You've written multiple responses about chest this season, not to mention your affinity for the Helliverse. But setting the explanations for your nickname aside, you've had a pretty underrated strong performance throughout LSF, and this alumni roster simply wouldn't be the same without you. While you gaze in awe at this showcase of the LSF alumni, I have one final announcement. Myself and Tonya will be hosting Lit12 Season 2 in less than a week when this video airs. If you're unfamiliar with Lit12, it was a standalone vanilla season with unique aesthetic themes every round, and the biggest WoW to come out of the 25V wave. We're aiming for 200 contestants this season, so be sure to sign up if you're interested. Now, I may or may not take a bit of a break in preparation for Phase 4, but I'll warn you all that it's going to be a doozy. Take care, everyone. This is Elias signing off, and I look forward to seeing you in Round 10.